Let's go to what we actually care about is money.
This is the Cardano to Ethereum chart. This is not a chart that tracks the price of Cardano or Ethereum. It's the price that tracks the ratio between them, the strength against each other. Remember, these are currencies. I cannot stress this enough. These are not stocks. So this is the same as tracking the US dollar to the euro. And people do trade in and out of those and make a little bit of money as one is stronger than the other. This chart is tracking the value of Cardano for Ethereum. So what is it saying? How many Cardano does it take to buy one Ethereum? And that in and of itself has moving averages and it has trend lines, and you can read those things to know when to buy and when to sell.
This is the monthly chart of Cardano to Ethereum. The reason it's important to look at the whole chart is because we want to see if Cardano can ever make it back to its all-time high, which was back actually in 2018 against Ethereum. This is not against the US dollar. We've already beaten the US dollar. Okay, back in 2018 we were at $1.40 USD. Now we went up to $3 approximately. But for Ethereum, this is what we were at. It was 0.0017. Let's say that
17 thousandths of an Ethereum.
That was the peak of Cardano against Ethereum back in 2017, 2018. Okay, let's look at where we are now. We were in this channel that we talked about last time, and currently we are at 0.0045.
It's important to remember, this is not a chart of the price. This is the chart of the ratio between them. So that dip below out of the trend line was when Ethereum broke its all-time high and Cardano stayed at $2. And that's why that chart tanked.
Exactly. That's why we're down here and it's lower. But let's find out the ratio between what we can get to if this bull run actually does succeed and Cardano touches or gets close to the last place of 0.0017. So if I divide it right now and I do 0.0045 and I divide that, right? I have a 3.7x against whatever Ethereum is going to be at. This is a little strange because this is not against the US dollar. It doesn't mean a 3.7 times from here. This is just, let's say Ethereum hits
12,000.
12,000 times 0.0017. That's a $20 Cardano.
If Ethereum is at $12,000 and Cardano pumps to its strongest level against Ethereum ever.
Right. If it actually gets up there, we don't need it to get there. This is my whole point and why I think Cardano is a good risk reward. If it gets to 20, great. I'm not even going to be there. I'm not even going to be around for the $20, by the way.
What I'll say is this, if like anyone that's really following the math here, the flaw in this math is you're using the ratio from 2017 when the market caps weren't what they are now and you're comparing it. We did a video a long time ago with Bitcoin and we found that every single market cycle, the multiplier that Bitcoin jumped got divided by 1/3. So as the market cap increases, you need less of a jump to create, a huge rise in price. So if it was $20, that's saying it would have been $20 in 2017 if Ethereum hit whatever. The price
so I think you have a good point. You have a good point. So let's look at this. So here's the current cycle, and we have reached 0.001.
1,000 1,000. It's basically saying you need 1,000 Cardano to buy one Ethereum.
So let me see if this will work out. 12,000 times 0.001, $12.
That's a theoretical high price of Ethereum that we're expecting, roughly at 12,000. If Cardano reaches its strongest level against Ethereum, while Ethereum's at its all-time high, it would put it at $12.
So the way we're getting the 0.001, this is important, guys. In this bull cycle, we were already here at this level. Okay, against Ethereum, we were already at 0.001. That means we can get maximum $12 out of this cycle. If we believe, forget about the previous cycle, that's not going to happen. We're not going to $20. $12 in this cycle is possible. But having said that, do you have to wait for $12? Like I said, I'm between 6 and 10, I'm selling, and by 10 I'm selling the last couple of bits and getting out.
But okay, I have to interject again because the math works out, but Ethereum and Cardano don't both peak at the same time. So in other words, Ethereum dropping can raise that up to 0.001. When Ethereum's at its all-time high, we have to check and see what the ratio was of Cardano on that day.
Usually it discounts when the market sort of starts to collapse, right? Let's take away what, 30%?
All right, it could be 30%, yes.
So this is what I'm saying. So 12,000 times 0.3 is 3,600. So 12,000 minus, let's even minus 4,000. Let's be a little bit safer, okay? We have $8,000 that we should be using as our ratio now times 0.001, $8.
Right. But again, because
Again, there's something else?
the day that that ratio hit 0.001, we need to know
Yeah.
the exact price of Ethereum that day, and we need to know the price of Cardano, because Cardano might not have been near its all-time low or all-time high. Could just be at a point when, say, Ethereum was tanking, and when it cratered, Cardano might not have even moved that day. And that could be the day that it was its strongest against Ethereum.
I see what you're saying.
Ethereum fell
Okay,
day.
so
That's February 28th.
1457, 1457.
This is actually really important. Cardano's strength against Ethereum was highest when Ethereum had tanked. On February 28th, Cardano was $1.30.
$1.30.
So Cardano was its strongest against Ethereum was on a random day when Cardano was at $1.30, but Ethereum happened to come crashing down. So even though we can get that multiple, it doesn't always mean that they're both going to be at the same time. You're just not going to know. It just means that that's the strongest. But how do I use that to trade if it just happens on a random day?
So when it's at the bottom here, and if my thesis is still that it has to be somewhere closer to 0.001, it doesn't have to be exactly like you're saying, you have a point, but it still has to be higher than 0.00049 for it to actually make a big move.
But I think the next step of this is to now, let's look at Cardano's all-time high and see what the ratio, but let's see what the ratio was that day.
I feel like we have to explain this whole thing, what we're doing, because it's kind of confusing.
It is kind of confusing, but in doing the research to do these videos, like the one for Bitcoin, these are the questions that come up. I'm constantly trying to prove myself wrong. I would rather be rich than be right. That's like Cryptoverse guy always says that. I would rather be rich than right. It's like the 10th man thing in Israeli government, right? Mm-hmm. If I'm 100% convicted in something, I now have to go look for why I'm wrong, because that's a blind spot and that could cost me thousands. And if I'm wrong because of a missing piece of information, right, then I'm wrong. I didn't have that information. But if I'm wrong because I just had an incorrect way of thinking, that's dangerous, because that could screw me up on a bunch of investments. We've established what Cardano's strength against Ethereum can be in terms of its price versus Ethereum. And we've also determined its low point when it's weakest against Ethereum. What we're finding now is those points don't always happen when one of them is at an all-time high or an all-time low. They could both just be crossing as Ethereum's coming down and Cardano's pumping, or Ethereum's dead money and Cardano pumps. We've seen what Ethereum was at its all-time high versus Cardano, but we have to see Cardano now. And if Cardano was $3.10 on September 2nd, what was Ethereum's price? Ethereum on September 2nd was $4,030.
Okay. You want to use the ratio for that day? Is that what you want to take a look at?
The reason why we're picking this day is because according to your chart, that was the last time Cardano was strongest against Ethereum. Yeah, so it's more like...
It's pretty strong.
It's more like this. It's more like August 29th. It's more like August 29th.
No, I know, but around there, it does show that it was pretty strong around that sort of block of days. That
now we can test the theory. This is it. Like, I don't even know how this is going to work out. But based on that, on August 29th, that was the last point that Cardano was strongest before it went into the toilet. Now, if what you're saying is right, then on that day, we should sell Cardano. What would have happened if I sold out of my Cardano position on August 29th this year?
I'm not following. This is the Cardano Ethereum chart.
But you're saying when that's high, you should sell Cardano.
And go into Ethereum.
And go into Ethereum. So I'm saying, let's see what happens if we actually followed that advice using the last time. So here we are. If you would have sold on August 29th, that would have been a good time.
Yeah, so look, the Cardano Ethereum chart it's a good trading chart. Once again, I was not trading. I did not sell out of my Cardano and trade into Ethereum. I just want to make that clear.
Yeah, but it's not necessarily about what any one person did. It's saying, because there has to be something that chart tells you that can inform a decision, and it has to be right and repeatable, and you have to be able to go back in history and see that it would have been correct. And so based on this, if I did take the advice of the chart and say, here we are on August 29th, if I'm sitting on my Cardano at 294, yeah, you might have missed the run up to 310, but that was technically its strongest. And the reason why Cardano went up, people were buying it, but Ethereum was going up faster. And that's why it said sell it. So now let's go back to the Valley. Let's go back and see when Cardano was weakest. This is Cardano ETH. So if you're right, then on August 10th, this is the time when you should be just buying heavy.
Well, you're picking August 10th as a big green candle. You want to go to the day before.
All right, the day before, August 9th, $1.40. This is Cardano. This is Cardano's price, August 9th. We checked and saw that based on where the chart was saying that Cardano was strongest against Ethereum, we're saying that that's telling you sell it. No matter what the price is, sell it, because it's not going to sustain it. It's like an RSI at 96. Whatever the price is, that RSI is at 96. there's only one way for it to go, right? So we've proven that. But now let's see if the opposite is true. When it's at its lowest, regardless of the price, that chart is telling you to buy Cardano.
Right. Should we actually throw hard-earned money instead of Ethereum?
Throw your money into it. Right. Don't buy Ethereum, buy Cardano, because a breakout is imminent only because it's become so weak. We looked at the ADA Ethereum chart, and that low was August 9th of this year.
It was 0.00046.
So we go to the chart and we see on August 9th, you would have bought it at 140 and been able to enjoy the run up to 311. You would have doubled your money.
Okay, so the reason we're doing all of this is because now we can look, this is a little bit confusing, of course, but please go over it again. This is important because now we can look at the current chart and say, hey, is Cardano weak against Ethereum? And if there is an altcoin pump, will it do well against Ethereum? And obviously, if it does well against Ethereum and we think Ethereum's price in USD is going up, then Cardano's price in USD will also go up, and will go up faster than Ethereum's price to catch up to that chart, because we're on the bottom of it. Does that all make sense?
It does. I mean, this is something that you just have to,
well, let's show the
have
chart.
To go back and watch it a couple
times.
This is just to reiterate. So what we're saying here is on the day that Cardano was weakest against Ethereum, this is the ADA Ethereum, Cardano versus Ethereum chart. The chart is saying that on August 9th, Cardano's a buy. Okay. Now we have the benefit of hindsight, but if you were just looking at this chart, you're just a Cardano hodler, and this is up to August 9th. There's nothing in this chart here to tell you to buy Cardano. There's no moving average cross. There's nothing here to tell you, oh my God, Cardano's about to run. You get what I'm saying? You wouldn't have known that this was coming.
Let's make it clear. By looking at the Cardano USD chart,
right. Just looking at this is the Cardano USD chart. So this is the price of Cardano that you see when you're in Coinbase. There's nothing in this chart here to tell you to buy Cardano. If this is up to August 9th, you're just looking at it. It's been trading in a bit of a channel. There's no action on the moving averages. There's really nothing. It's a normal, regular day.
Well, it touched the 200 day. You're showing it touching the 200 day.
Okay, it touched the 200 day, and that's usually like a really bullish signal unless it breaks down. But still, even that is not something to tell you some big candles are coming. But if you did respect this chart and say, you know what, when it gets below XYZ level, I'm buying, you would have been treated to this. Like there's no way you would have known that this was coming.
No,
and and this is how many days is this? This is from the 9th to September 1st. It's 24 days. And so you wouldn't have known that in 24 days, Cardano was going to run 127%. You would not have known that. So anyway.
Look, obviously, even I didn't know. This is all in hindsight. We're analyzing the charts. We're looking at it again.
Yeah.
And we're trying to formulate a hypothesis for the future. That's why let's finally go to why we're doing all of this work. Because the reason is Cardano right now looks objectively, not because I think it's a shitcoin or not because I think it's overvalued at $80 billion. It looks currently, the fact that it's sitting at 0.0004, and we've seen it run up to at least 0.0001, let's say, just to make it easy, right?
Yeah.
That we are at least a double away from where it should be if it's to trade similar to what it already has. So does it have to do that? Of course not. It doesn't have to reach the top. First of all, this is the top over here. If it actually stays in this channel, it's 0.008. Let me just put that. Right now we're at 0.0004. So it's roughly a double.
What's interesting is that this is also really confusing. At that 0.0008 level, you could actually have a higher price in Cardano than at 0.0001 back in August.
Yes, it is all against Ethereum, correct?
It's all against Ethereum. So, but what's interesting about the chart, especially where it is right now.
I want to make this clear. Hold on. I want to just make this clear. Guys, this is what I'm betting on.
Right. Done. Thank you, guys. Hit like and subscribe. Hit the little bell.
I'm betting on this line being put correct by
January, February, whatever it is.
It is. I expect sometime that this is going to happen, that it's moving up and Ethereum's moving up and Cardano's going to do well against Ethereum at some point. I just want to make it simple, and you go ahead. You can explain the complicated thing if you want.
Again, it's important to know what this chart is tracking. This chart is tracking the ratio of the price of Cardano to Ethereum, not the price of either one. So both of them can make this chart move. Cardano can make this chart go up by Cardano gaining market cap. That will raise this ratio. But it can also happen if Ethereum comes down. If Ethereum tanks, this ratio will also go up. So those two things are pulling at it, and it's the same thing on the sell side, right? But what's interesting is, so for all of 2021, the ratio between them has been getting closer. What this is saying is the whales, the institutions, the retail people have been buying it up a little earlier and selling it a little earlier. They've been front running it on the sell side, and they've been buying it like earlier, and that's been trading in a channel. But look at the day it failed and broke out of the channel. What date was that?
That was 27th of October.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen for a second. The 27th of October. What happened that day to cause it to tank? Was it a
and guys, you're going to have to watch this video definitely a second time, because this is important.
I'm going to have to watch this video.
This is important information for anyone actually who cares about making some cash here. Okay?
This could probably be our most important video on Cardano, because a lot of what we talk about is speculation. I think it's going to this.
Well, I want to caveat that this is speculation. We're not financial advisors. This is not financial advice.
The whole thing is speculation, but most of the time, the speculation that we're talking about is the asset class itself. But because it's a currency, it does not exist in a bubble. Like a Cardano doesn't exist in a bubble. Its price is regulated not just by the number of people coming in, but sometimes that money comes in from other coins.
I'm not saying Cardano's going to $50. I'm just saying Cardano's going to hit 0.0008.
01, all right, 0.008, right,
of Ethereum.
Of whatever an Ethereum is. But again, it would be misleading to say that if Ethereum's at $15,000, Cardano's going to be at 0.0008 that day and give us a price of $25. It doesn't mean that. It could be at 0.008 and be $6. What the chart is good for to tell you is whatever the price of it is, it's time to sell.
Or buy.
But we're thinking of the sell side, because I'm assuming we're talking to people that have positions.
Right.
And now it's about where's the topping action. Let's get back to what the calculation we were doing. You said October 27th was the day it failed out of the channel. So that means that was the day that the ratio of Cardano to ETH failed out of the channel, and Cardano became heavily undervalued. But let's see what made that happen. Was that a movement in Ethereum, or was it a movement in Cardano? Okay, October 27th was a big sell-off for Ethereum. This is for Ethereum. So October 27th, here's Ethereum at $3,800. And on October 27th,
$1.91.
$1.90. So Cardano was down $1.90 on that day, and Ethereum was sitting at 3,900. So based on the chart that you have, it's telling you that at $1.90, that's a buy for Cardano. The price of Cardano that day itself was also really low. It was basically the same price that it was almost, in September. So it would have been a good buy anyway, but there'd be nothing special about this day for you to know that it was hitting the bottom of the channel.
No.
But the subsequent price action, Cardano stayed somewhat stagnant, yet on your chart, it continued to sink in value because Ethereum started pumping. So you can see, here's October 27th, Ethereum started pumping to get where we are now, and that's what moved the chart.
Just to reiterate, the further Ethereum got away from Cardano, the better Cardano looks to me as a risk reward. But the risk reward increases the further Ethereum gets away from Cardano, because a lot of people are looking at these charts who are traders and don't care about the project, don't care about Charles Hoskinson. They just look at the chart and say, you know what? This is a good opportunity to put a little bit of this money in here from Ethereum that I've made all this cash. Let me move a little bit out, put it into some of these altcoins like Cardano, and let's wait for the next run where it's going to catch up. That's what I think is happening.
If you're just holding Cardano and you're ignoring what Ethereum's doing, you're looking at puppet shadows on the wall trying to guess what's making the shadows. It's like there's a lot of missing information. They don't operate in a bubble. These things are trading against each other all the time. And so I hope that the takeaway for this would be that even if you're just in Cardano and that's it, that's all you care about, you should still be looking at what Ethereum's doing. It at least gives you an idea of when's a good time to buy and when's a good time to sell, or when you should be trimming your position if it looks like Cardano's going to pull back. That's really what it comes down to.
I just want to end it with a price prediction, because we had a bunch of numbers thrown around, but I think you're right.
So after all of that, it's going to $500 in 2 days.
Let's see where
just
it can
like
actually,
in general, right?
Just over here in January, because we have a big January day coming up, right?
Yeah, I think it was like January 13th. We're expecting, Ethereum at 13,000, 15,000.
Okay, so let's put the same thing, January 13th, January 12th, whatever.
Okay.
So January 12th, the maximum Cardano can be is 0.0008 against Ethereum. That's the maximum it could be. If let's say $12,000 is the maximum, 0.00 is it 3 O's, right? 0.08, $9.6 max. Not even going to hit 10. Okay.
Right.
From what everything we just follow me for another minute. Let me look at the bottom of this. All right. We hit 0.0008, 8 thousandths of an Ethereum. That'll get us to $9.60 maximum. Like
at $12,000.
Yes, on that day maximum. That's
Right.
and most likely that's probably not going to happen, like we discussed. So let's go to the bottom of this. 0.00058, so 58 thousandths of an Ethereum. So now let's do the same $12,000 if we assume that 0.00058, $7. So between $7 and $9.60, you better be getting the F out of Dodge. That's what this is saying. The whales who are trading this have been doing this for a decade now.
Right,
They
but the
will
whales
happily,
aren't alone now.
I know, but they will happily dump money into Cardano and other altcoins, not only Cardano, to see them run and to see them 3, 4, 5x and go parabolic, and then dump it all on us because we think it's going to 20 when it's actually going to 10 or 12 or whatever. Anyway, we'll never know. I know what you're saying and you're right, but we won't know until this plays itself out, and then we'll revisit it in another Cardano video where people tell us we're
What's going to be what will be really interesting is once the whole bull run is over, we will analyze it.
Oh yeah,
We're going to analyze it, and we're going to figure out what was the ratio, this is going to be really interesting data to
absolutely
find.
fascinating. But in my mind, but still, just to know my plan going forward, not financial advice, I'm going from basically $5, I start scaling out all the way up until 10. And that means probably by 9, 8, I'm mostly out of Cardano, to be honest. Like, look, I like the project, but after this is all over, Cardano's going back to $2. That's what I think is going to happen.
I don't disagree with you. My brain hurts.
Yeah.
Like after this, I feel like that.
This was a good episode, guys.
This was a really good episode. Because,
like and subscribe, buddies.
Man, yeah, it's like if you understood any of that, hit like and subscribe. Leave some comments. Comment below, and instead of just yelling at us,
right?
Tell us what you think. Tell us.
Stop calling us idiots and work with us.
We're holding Cardano too. It's not like we're not whales. We're trying to make money on it, just like you guys are. And this information gives me high conviction.
Instead of just leaving comments that are nasty, which hurts my feelings sometimes, okay?
I have to field those calls, guys. You have no idea.
I want to actually have a discussion about Cardano. Let's talk about it as opposed to just calling each other names. I don't think that's mature. I don't think that's an investor sort of mindset. And honestly, I ignore those sort of discussions. But if you have a real point, I do want to hear it. And if you are telling us that our charts are wrong for A, B, C, and D, I want to know it because I'm actually putting money into Cardano. Anyway, please like and subscribe. Hit the bell because we have so many more videos. Crypto, Neo Volta video. We have regular equities that we show.
Yeah.
And check us out. Please follow us.
Be safe out there, guys.